Okay, everyone, welcome back. Well, we had a little trouble, or at least some people had some trouble with the user input from the last class. So let's take a look at this. I made a specific Java program just to explain the different ways we can get input from the user. And there's two different ways. The second one we did not go over class, but it might be actually a little bit better to use for beginners. So let's take a look. If you look here, we declare two string variables, as we know, to collect names or any other length of characters. But in this case, we're going to use it for names to enter from the user. Now, one's for the console, and I'm going to use the other one for graphical input. Let's look over the example we used it for class. First, I print a line to the console, and I say enter your name. Once your name is entered, this scanner option right here will read it into this string input. Okay, let's take a look at that. This is the scanner. Alright, you have to input that. If you type it in, it'll give you a red line. You can hover your mouse over scanner and it'll ask you to import it. Go ahead and import it. Now, the scanner is an object and a class, and this calls the constructor for scanner. Now, I know we haven't gone over constructors yet, but that's the way you create new objects, is calling the constructor. Like anything else, scanner is a type, just like how string is. So input, its type is string. Well, I created my input, and its type is scanner. And the way you perform the scanner, or call the constructor, is name it, and then gets new scanner, and something goes into parentheses, in that case system.in. And system.in is what it's reading in from the user. Alright? So, allowing to point to the directory of where the user will be providing inputs, the system's input. Okay? This is a hard concept to get right away, but this is how you declare the scanner. Alright? Now the input is a string, like you know, and my input represents the scanner. Dot next line. When you type the dot, it'll give you a menu of several options, and one of them is called next line, meaning that when you type something in from the user down here in the console, it'll collect everything on that one line and assign it to input. If you be careful with this, because if you do just next, it'll get just one character or so. Alright, so you want to get the whole line, and that's what you want to get, is the whole line. So next line. Alright, so this my input.nextLine calls the method that gets the whole line and assigns it to a string right here. Then we print it out. Your name is space quotes, and then the input by using the plus sign, input, and it'll print it out to the user. That's one way. The second way is the graphical way, and I have a little divider line right here. You could do all of this in just these two lines. So let's take a look. Now, let's modify the code here just a second. Alright, now GInput, which is a string used for graphical input, I'm assigning it this JOption pane thing. And this JOption pane is a graphical user box that allows you to show you some graphical representation that which you're more accustomed to. Okay, so let's take a look at it. You have the graphical user interface, and when I'm calling that class, there's something called show input dialog. It's an input dialog box, and I have a string in it, and my string says please enter your name. So a box will appear and it will say please enter your name, and you could go ahead and do so. It has some default options like an OK button, a cancel button, and so on. And we'll take a look at it as we run the program. The next line is this J option pane again. We're not assigning it to anything because it's a show message dialog, which means it's just going to show us a message. It doesn't need to be assigned to anything. But it does take in the input that we collected from the user up here. Now this null, I don't need you to worry about this null. It just knows that that needs to go first. Null is a Java keyword. It's a component that really goes here, and it can be replaced, for example, by a button or a checkbox. And we don't have any of the we haven't learned about a button or a checkbox yet. So for right now, for all this time, we'll just use the null until later on in the semester when we could actually add a component here. So it's going to show you the name that you entered that was assigned to GInput and put it right here. So when the message dialog comes up, it'll show your name. So let's go ahead and run this and see what it looks like. Go ahead and saved it because I made some changes here. Go ahead and run it. Please enter your name, Mahendra, and it says your name is Mahendra. Now behind this, because I'm running both graphical and console, sometimes the GUI box doesn't come up on your screen. Just minimize your screen and it should be there, and there it is right there. Please enter your name, Mahendra. Okay, and there's the message box with my name. Sounds cool? Alright, let's modify this just a little bit. You could actually make this more descriptive. This, you may have used some graphical interfaces that have something written in the text box that can be replaced. And the way you could do that is, instead of saying please enter your name, you could just say name box. And this name box will be on the top, and please enter your name will already be written in the text field, and it'll ask you to replace it. So let's take a look at how that works. Run. Let's do this again, and right behind it you'll notice that it says name box on the top, and please enter your name that can be replaced at that section. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And there you go. So I hope that helps clarify how to get user input. Alright, very important part of Java. Alright, so go say OK, and I will see you in the next video.